Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another daily movie review. And today we're going to be talking about the 1992 drama thriller, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. The film is directed by Curtis Hanson, one of the directors of one of my all time favorite movies, LA Confidential. Yeah, pretty crazy. I didn't know he had directed this. I was not aware. The film is written by Amanda Silver. It stars Annabelle Sciorra, Rebecca De Mornay, Matt McCoy, Ernie Hudson, Julianne Moore, Madeline Zima, John Delancey, and others. The logline plot synopsis is: after her humiliated husband kills himself, an embittered pregnant widow loses her child and embarks on a mission of vengeance against the woman and her family. So yeah, this is one of those movies that it's been just like on my radar forever, but for some reason I had never gotten around to it. I'm telling you, listen, Amazon Prime comes in out just in a pinch. You don't know what you want to watch? There's so much like random good old shit on there, whether it's like obscure horror movies or stuff like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. It's there for you, baby. I honestly, all the time, I'm like, man, Amazon Prime's kind of fucking the best when it comes to my particular tastes and selection. I find myself going to Amazon Prime quite a bit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You should check out. It's got a great library. It's got a vast library. They even have a whole section. You can click a button. You can see every 4K movie they have on there. They have 4K UHD stuff on there. Granted, it's not the same as watching a disc, but if you got to do it, you got to do it. If you can do it streaming, might as well. Might as well go for it. No extra cost. I mean, come on, baby. It's great. It's great. Yeah. So I'd never seen this movie before. I kind of knew it by reputation. I knew that Rebecca De Mornay gives kind of a spirited performance, but really, honestly, for some reason, just really had no awareness of it other than that, which is surprising because I think it was a really cultural like touchstone at the time, like for these kinds of thrillers. I remember the poster. I remember seeing this on like shelves at the movie store, at the movie rental place. 100 copies of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Just sitting there, waiting for you, waiting for me. Took me a long time to get there, but we got there. So what did I just think? Just off the top of my head, I thought it was okay. I thought this movie was going to be way more salacious, way more like sexually charged and provocative, and way more over the top, but it's really not. I talked about Pacific Heights the other day. It has the same kind of feeling where it goes off the rails in the last 20 minutes and turns into like Rebecca De Mornay turns into like the evil Terminator slasher villainess. But before that, it's kind of more of just a domestic drama, and this idea that this woman is kind of gaslighting this wife. She comes in as like a stay-at-home nanny, a live-in nanny. She gets hired on, and her history is that the woman, what's her name? Annabelle Sciorra's character, Claire, changes doctors, changes her OBGYN, her vagina doctor. While she's about to have a baby, she gets a new doctor, and the guy basically molests her. He basically rapes her, digitally rapes her. He makes her feel super uncomfortable. It seems he's a creep. And when he gets outed, he kills himself. And then Rebecca De Mornay is his wife, and she loses her kid to miscarriage because of the stress of what happened to her husband, and then she kind of loses everything because while there are a bunch of pending cases of sexual assault and abuse with this doctor, the government basically freezes your assets and freezes your properties. So she goes after this family to try to get recompense. She wants to steal this woman's family is basically what ends up happening, and she does all these little subtle things. Now, the movie is pretty one note. It is pretty mediocre for the most part, but not. It's pleasantly mediocre. It's very watchable. And Rebecca De Mornay, though, this performance I feel like has aged pretty well, because when this movie came out, actually she got some shit for this movie. People, especially like actresses like Sybil Shepherd, I was reading, came out and was like, "Oh, this is an anti-woman, angry anti-woman movie." When in reality, it isn't. It's not. Her character is just like kind of the nightmare character, the nightmare other woman character for Claire, for the wife. that comes into your house and kind of threatens everything about you and is trying to get your husband to sleep with her and stuff. It's kind of interesting like that. You know what's actually this reminded me the most of? It reminded me, if you are a kid, if you're my age, or a little older maybe, you might know who Shannon Tweed is. Shannon Tweed, she married the dude from Kiss. Gene Simmons. She married Gene Simmons. Or was together with Gene Simmons for a long time. They had kids together. But anyway, she was kind of like the softcore porn actress that would be in like these Showtime erotic thrillers. Not quite like the Skinamax level, but like more actual movies, but they're like all these erotic thrillers. That's kind of what I thought The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is going to be, a little bit more like that. But the plot line of it is exactly the same as like 5 Shannon Tweed movies I saw as a young, developing young man trying to find ways to watch pornography. But so I'd have to watch these Shannon Tweed movies late at night on the movie channel or Showtime. But yeah, it's like a really well-made one of those with all the titillation cut out, which was kind of shocking. I thought it was going to be much more, like I said, much more like provocative film. It's also like I don't know if you guys have ever seen David Fincher's Gone Girl. I've always said about that movie, it is the best Lifetime original movie ever made. Because that's what it is. That's kind of what the source material is a novel that would be something that would be turned into a Lifetime original movie. What was it? Something Flynn? Gillian Flynn? The author of that? Yeah, because actually, literally, she's had other books turned into Lifetime movies. So, there you go. But it's like the best one ever made. You know, David Fincher is such a good director. He can take that kind of material and make a kind of a banger movie. This is like if somebody made a really good Shannon Tweed movie. That's like I said. But cut out all the stuff that you watch Shannon Tweed movies for. So instead of Shannon Tweed's ass and tits, you get Rebecca De Mornay's kind of fun, campy a little bit, but fun performance. You never don't think that she's crazy. She's always got this weirdness to her, this, almost autistic. And I don't say that in a pejorative sense. I'm just saying, like, that's almost like her demeanor. And she's ready to kind of explode at any time. I wish they had kind of done more. I wish there was like more overt kind of stresses in the household between the wife and the husband, like before she even came into the picture, so that the household could have been primed a little bit more to be fucked with, right? Because it kind of almost comes out of nowhere, and when the wife reacts the way she does, it does seem a little contrived. It seems a little like plot mechanical, This just has to happen because it's one of those kinds of movies. It's got to happen that way. So definitely some things you can work on there. Also, it has like another, like I said, this third act kind of turn where the movie becomes a much faster paced, different kind of movie. And I wish that it had been a little bit more of a thorough, slow burn. And that the revelations maybe came a little less silly of a manner. I don't know what it is with these things. Everybody becomes a fucking detective and they're like down at the library looking at old newspapers at some point. It's a lot of these kind of movies, I mean, I love it. I do kind of love that. But because I love the predictability. If you watch my Pacific Heights review, which was not a very good review, but a review nonetheless, I watch these kind of movies when I'm kind of in a bummer mood. And I like that they're a little predictable. I like that they're kind of stupid. They're very mediocre films. Very watchable, rather. Sorry, it's late. It's so late right now. Yeah. But you know what, though? If you're into this aesthetic, if you're into that kind of 90s thriller vibe, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is not an awful movie. And it's even a lot of fun in some parts. Like I said, I think Rebecca De Mornay's performance is kind of the reason to watch the movie. Ernie Hudson goes full Simple Jack, if you get my gist there. If you've ever seen the film Tropic Thunder, you know who Simple Jack is. Kind of shocking in a certain way, because I've never seen Ernie Hudson do anything like that. If you know Ernie Hudson, the black guy from Ghostbusters, who I love. I love Ernie Hudson. He's a great actor. Shut up. Calm down. I love Ernie Hudson. He's a great actor. But this was questionable. It doesn't head into quite Sean Penn, I Am Sam territory. Not quite. A little more low key than that. But I was a little taken aback that it was him. It's just like, maybe that's my own bias or something, but seeing Ernie Hudson, he plays it like Lenny from fucking Of Mice and Men. That's kind of like the way he like approaches this character. And that stuff, like, there's so many things that happen at the end of the movie. You're like, what the fuck? Like, why would this work this way? Like, it does not feel like it earns certain things. It does not feel like these things would happen in any credible world. But, at the same time, you gotta kind of get a vibe with what the movie's throwing out there. It is a little self-aware that it's campy, that it's a little trashy, but probably not self-aware enough, though. I'm not sure if they knew entirely what they were making, just because it seems so workmanlike. Curtis Hanson, like I said, directed one of my all-time favorite movies. L.A. Confidential is one of my all-time favorite movies. I would put it in my top 10 probably. I love that fucking movie. He also directed 8 Mile. Yeah, he has a weird career. Let's look at some Curtis Hanson movies, okay? For no reason whatsoever. I mean, he's got, Bad Influence. I don't even know what that is. Oh, okay. Rob Lowe, James Spader. Never heard of it. Never seen it. Probably on Amazon Prime, though. Maybe I'll get around to it. He did The River Wild, L.A. Confidential, Wonder Boys, 8 Mile, In Her Shoes, Lucky You, Chasing Mavericks. And then he passed away, unfortunately, in 2016. But, yeah, he kind of has that middling filmography. Nothing that really blows your mind, I know a lot of 8 Mile fans out there, but, I don't know. And then he's got L.A. Confidential, which is like this one of the great kind of retro detective movies of the past 40 years. I love that movie. It's like a populist version of Chinatown. Like, it's Chinatown, but like for dummies. Like, it's easy to understand. It's got provocation. It's got good actors giving good performances. Come on, even Kevin Spacey. We got to talk about L.A. Confidential someday. I might save that one for Big Paul. Big Paul and I grew up. I probably forced him to watch L.A. Confidential, but I feel like that's a movie Big Paul was into. So we'll probably get around to that someday. Yeah, another movie review where I talk about other movies. That's just the way it goes, folks. That's the way the daily movie review crumbles. Yeah, I don't know. Give it a shot. Like, I can't say it's like awful. I enjoyed it for the reasons I said I enjoyed it. It's definitely not going to be for everybody. I can imagine a lot of people being like, "Oh, it's fucking stupid," and I probably wouldn't disagree with you. But if you're the right type of person, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is entertaining. It'd be a fun movie. Say you got a significant other. You got a wife, you got a boyfriend, you got whatever. Some non-binary agent in your house, life partner. If you sit down and watch The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, maybe pour a couple glasses of wine, or maybe have a little some bourbon or something, and make fun of it. Mystery Science Theater 3000 it, like, you will laugh with the movie and at the movie, mostly at the movie. You make some jokes, have a good time. It would be a good way to relax. You know what I'm saying? All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to know more about Zoobox, everything Zoobox Nation, bunch of links in the description for Facebook, for Instagram, for Twitter. Also, if you'd like to make a recommendation for one of these daily movie reviews, throw it in the comments. It's October. I'm already into recording movie reviews for October. So if you're going to do anything on this video around the time that it's posted, maybe throw a horror movie out there. That would be cool. October is going to be all horror movies and horror movie adjacent movies, things that are adjacent to the horror genre. I probably, I could have done The Hand That Rocks the Cradle for that, but, I love you guys too much. I didn't want you to miss out on my hot The Hand That Rocks the Cradle takes. You know what I'm saying? All right, everybody. Get the fuck out of here. Go to bed or get up or go back to work. Go back to work, Prophet.